Excuses weaken your purpose. Every time you make an excuse, you hand over your power to something outside of yourself. You take the steering wheel of your life and give it to fear, laziness, or self-doubt. You tell your dream, "Oh, wait for me," while you hide behind reasons that sound good but keep you stuck. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect your ego. They allow you to say, "It's not my fault," instead of facing the truth that you didn't use best effort. Yeah. But every time you choose an excuse over action, you weaken your purpose. You make your goals smaller, your confidence weaker, and your potential quieter. You can't build strength by running from responsibility. You can't grow your dream while feeding your excuses. Think about it. How many times you said, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll do it when I have time," and then tomorrow never comes? Every excuse delays your destiny. You're not missing opportunities because the world is unfair. You're missing them because you're choosing comfort. Excuses are poison. They taste sweet in the moment, but leave bitterness that lasts for years. You tell yourself, "I'll try when I'm ready," but you'll never be fully ready. Growth demands risk. Purpose demands sacrifice. You can't reach your next level with a mindset that looks for shortcuts and safety. The people who make it don't do so because life is easy for them. They make it because they refuse to let excuses define them. When you say, "I can't," what you're really saying is, "I won't." You're saying, "My fear is stronger than my purpose." But it's not. You just keep feeding it. Excuses are lies we tell ourselves to protect our comfort zone. They sound rational, but they're emotional shields. You say, "I don't have the money," but you waste hours instead of using time to create opportunities. You say, "I don't have support," but you don't even believe in yourself enough to take the first step. Excuses become habits, and habits become identity. Soon you start believing that you're the type of person who just doesn't win, who just doesn't succeed. That's how potential dies, not from failure, but from excuses that make failure feel okay. Every excuse you make builds a wall between you and your purpose. Imagine your dream on one side and you on the other. Each excuse is another brick. "I'm tired, it's hard, or nobody believes in me." One by one, you trap yourself behind the wall you built. Then you look at others living their purpose and wonder why it's not happening for you. It's because they stopped stacking bricks. They stopped talking themselves out of greatness, out of greatness. They faced the same fear, the same doubt, the same pain, but they didn't make it their identity. You can't be both the victim and the victor. You gotta choose. Your purpose needs discipline, not excuses. Purpose is heavy. It requires lifting, pushing, grinding, and excuses are the easy way out. But easy never made anyone great. You can't expect to have strength without resistance. Excuses remove resistance, and that's why they remove progress too. You can't grow without struggle. You can't win without pain. If you want your life to change, you have to stop defending your limits. Every time you say, "I can't," ask yourself, why not me? The truth is, someone with less talent, less money, and less support has already done what you're afraid to start. The only difference is they stop giving power to excuses and start giving power to purpose. Your purpose will test you. It will demand consistency when you feel tired, focus when you feel distracted, and faith when you feel afraid. Excuses can't live in that space. You can't carry purpose and excuses in the same heart. One will kill the other. You have to choose which one wins every day. When the alarm clock goes off, you can say, "I'm tired," or you can say, "I'm grateful for another chance." When challenges hit, you can say, "It's not fair," or you can say, "It's not fair," or you can say, "This is preparing me for something bigger." Excuses weaken you because they make you forget that everything you need is already inside you. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need approval. You just need to decide that your purpose is worth more than your comfort. If you're serious about your dreams, you gotta stop negotiating with excuses. Stop saying you'll do it later. Stop blaming your past, your boss, your environment. You can't fix what you keep excusing. Growth happens when you start taking ownership. Tell yourself, "I'm responsible for where I am." And that means I have the power to change it. Excuses give control to your past. Responsibility gives control to your future. And once you stop making excuses, something amazing happens. Your energy shifts. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. You stop saying, "I hope," and start saying, "I will." You stop asking her what if it doesn't work and start saying, oh, what if it does? You're not lacking time or talent. You're lacking focus. The truth is, everyone gets 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't about luck. It's about what they do with those hours. You can't keep saying, I don't have enough time, when you spend more energy talking about what you want than working for it. Time isn't the problem. Attention is you give your time to distraction. You give your time to distractions, and then you wonder why your dreams don't grow. You have the potential, you have the ability, but your focus is scattered. You're trying to do everything except the one thing that actually matters. You think talent is what separates winners from losers, but it's not. Talent without focus is wasted potential. You can be the most gifted person in the room, but if you can't lock in, if you can't discipline your mind, your talent will fade. Focus is what turns ability into achievement. It's the bridge between dreaming and doing. When you're focused, your energy has direction. When you're distracted, your energy leaks everywhere. You can't move forward when your attention is split between fear, comfort, and excuses. You've got to decide what matters most, and then go all in on that. Focus doesn't mean you do more, it means you do what matters most. Too many people confuse movement with progress. You stay busy all day, but you're not building anything. You scroll, you talk, you plan, execute. Focus is about eliminating noise, cutting out everything that doesn't push you closer to your purpose. When you say yes to every distraction, you're saying no to your dream. You can't focus on growth and comfort at the same time. One will always destroy the other. That's why most people never reach their potential. They want success, but they also want to stay comfortable. They want to grow, but they don't want to give up what's easy. You say you don't have time, but the truth is you have too many priorities. You're giving attention to things that don't deserve it. Every notification, every complaint, every doubt steals focus from your purpose. You've got to guard your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. The quality of your life is determined by what you focus on. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll find opportunities. The world doesn't change when you complain about time. It changes when you commit to focus. Discipline and focus go hand in hand. You can't stay focused without discipline, and you can't have discipline without focus. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you train your mind to drift. But when you commit to your goals, even when you don't feel like it, you build mental strength. Success doesn't come from working hard one day. It comes from working with focus every day. You can't expect consistency if your mind is scattered. Focus trains your brain to ignore noise, ignore fear, and keep moving toward what matters. Look at anyone who's made it to the top. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, they didn't get there because they were the most talented. They got there because they stayed locked in when everyone else got distracted. They weren't lucky. They were focused. While others were sleeping, they were practicing. While others were partying, they were preparing. They understood that focus is the fuel for success. Every goal, every dream requires a season of intense focus, a time when you shut out the world and pour everything you got into your craft. That's how greatness is built, not in moments of inspiration, but in hours of concentrated effort when nobody's watching. You can't complain about not being where you want to be if your focus is divided. You can't chase 10 different things and expect to master one. You've got to choose. Every yes requires 1,000 no's. When you say yes to your purpose, you have to say no to distraction, no to negativity, no to laziness, no to people who don't align with your vision. Focus requires sacrifice. It means missing out on temporary pleasure for long-term purpose. It means saying, I'll work while they rest. I'll train while they talk. I'll sacrifice now so I can shine later. That's the mindset that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Stop telling yourself you don't have enough time. You have the same time as everyone else. The difference is how you use it. You can spend your days reacting to everything that happens, or you can decide what deserves your attention and energy. You can chase distractions, or you can chase destiny. Every time you check your phone, instead of checking your goals, you lose focus. Every time you let doubt take over your thoughts, you lose momentum. You can't afford to keep losing focus. Every second you waste is a second you never get back. Your dream deserves your full attention. You can't give it leftovers. Pain can be fuel. Most people run from pain, but the truth is, pain is one of the greatest teachers you'll ever have. Every struggle, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries a lesson that can push you closer to your purpose. But you have to stop seeing pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Pain isn't here to break you, it's here to build you. The difference between people who grow and people who give up is how they handle pain. The ones who grow feel the pain, but keep moving. They don't waste energy complaining about what hurts. They use that energy to create change. When life hits you, it's not personal. Pain doesn't come to destroy your potential. It comes to expose it. It reveals what you're made of. Anyone can smile when life is easy, but character is built when life gets hard. Pain introduces you to the real you, the version that's buried under comfort and routine. When things go wrong, when people walk away, when doors close, that's when you learn what you truly believe in. You either use pain as an excuse to quit or as fuel to rise higher. The choice is always yours. Great success story starts with pain. You can't find purpose without pressure. Diamonds are formed under extreme heat. Seeds break before they grow. Why do we expect our growth to be painless when every form of life transforms through struggle? The pain you're feeling right now may not make sense, but one day it will. One day you'll look back and realize that it wasn't trying to destroy you. It was shaping you, molding you, refining you for something greater. Pain is the process that prepares you for the promise. You can't skip it and expect to be strong. The problem is most people waste their pain. They sit in it instead of growing through it. They ask, why me? Instead of asking, what is this trying to teach me? Pain is feedback. It's a message from life saying, something needs to change. But if you only focus on the hurt, you miss the lesson. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And that's where your power lies. When you choose to turn pain into purpose, you take back control. You stop being victim and start being victor. You start saying, this didn't happen to me. It happened for me. It happened for me. Pain gives you perspective. It humbles you, grounds you, and forces you to grow. Without pain, you never appreciate joy. Without struggle, you never value success. The moments that break you also build you. They teach you empathy, discipline, and strength. When you've walked through darkness, you understand light in a way that people who've never struggled can't. You start to see life differently. You stop chasing what's easy and start chasing what's meaningful. You stop needing validation because pain teaches you that peace is something you create within yourself, not something the world gives you. Every failure, every setback, every betrayal carries energy. You can waste that energy on regret, or you can use it to fuel your drive. When people doubt you, when circumstances go wrong, that pain can either drain you or motivate you. The fire that burns inside the most successful people didn't come from comfort. It came from moments when they had nothing left but determination. They used rejection as motivation. They turned heartbreak into hunger. They didn't let pain define them. They used it to sharpen them. When you channel pain correctly, it becomes unstoppable fuel. It gives you a reason to keep going when you feel like quitting. Pain also teaches discipline. When you've endured enough, you realize that pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. You learn to push through discomfort because you felt worse before. Pain strengthens your endurance. It reminds you that if you can survive your hardest days, you can survive anything. It makes you grateful for progress, even when it's small. Pain gives meaning to your victories because you know what it took to get there. Without struggle, success would be empty. You can't appreciate the light if you've never walked through darkness. Sometimes pain isolates you, and that's when you grow the most. Growth rarely happens in crowds. It happens in silence, in moments when no one's cheering for you, in nights when you're questioning your worth. Those are the times when your character is being built. Pain strips away your ego. It takes away the noise so you can hear your purpose. It forces you to look inward and find strength you didn't know existed. When you start seeing pain as a tool, not a trap, you begin to master your life. You can't outrun pain, but you can outgrow it. You can turn it into wisdom, strength, and fire. You can use it as the reason you don't give up. Every time you face something that hurts, remind yourself that this is the process of becoming stronger. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to handle the hard one. Because the harder your journey, the greater your growth. Responsibility is power. The moment you stop blaming other people for where you are in life, everything begins to change. As long as you keep pointing fingers at your parents, your boss, your environment, your past, you're giving away your power to change. You can't grow when you believe that your life is controlled by someone else's choice. The truth is, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. And that response determines your future. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's freedom. When you take ownership of your life, you take back your strength. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you and realize that you are the one who's been chosen to fix it. Most people stay stuck because they're addicted to blaming others. They get comfort from saying, it's not my fault. It feels easier to stay the same when you can convince yourself that life is unfair. But blame never built anything. Blame keeps you blind to your own potential. Every time you blame someone else, you give them power over your destiny. Responsibility is the opposite. It's saying, I may not have started this fire, but I'm going to be the one who puts it out. When you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for perfect condition. You start using what you had where you are to move forward. There's a difference between fault and responsibility. Maybe it wasn't your fault that you were hurt, betrayed, or born into hard circumstances. But it's still your responsibility to heal, to rise, to create a new path. Life doesn't give you what's fair. It gives you what you fight for. Responsibility means taking control of your energy. Instead of saying, why me? You start asking, what can I do about it? That shift changes everything. You go from being powerless to powerful, from reactive to proactive. You realize that your choices matter more than your circumstances. Taking responsibility also means being honest with yourself. You can't change what you keep denying. It's easy to say life is unfair, but harder to admit that you've been inconsistent, distracted, or afraid. Growth begins with truth. When you tell yourself the truth about your habits, your mindset, your effort, you create space for change. Responsibility is about owning your role in every outcome. If your life isn't where you want it to be, don't make excuses. Don't hide behind your past. Ask yourself what you can do differently starting today. Responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing that you have the power to change your direction. When you take full responsibility, your confidence grows. You stop feeling like a victim of life. Start feeling like the creator of it. You stop saying I can and start saying I will. You stop waiting for opportunities and start creating them. Life will always test you. But when you know that your response is your responsibility, you stop breaking under pressure. You become unshakable. That's what true strength is. Not avoiding struggle, but taking responsibility for how you handle it. People who live with power understand that excuses weaken progress. They don't waste time blaming others or complaining about what they can't control. They focus their energy on what they can control, their mindset, their effort, their decisions. Responsibility is what separates dreamers from doers. Well, everyone wants success, but not everyone wants to own the discipline it takes to achieve it. You can pray for a better life all you want, but if you don't take responsibility for your daily actions, nothing changes. Faith without responsibility is fantasy. You can't just want it. You have to work for it. Taking responsibility also means forgiving yourself. You've made mistakes, but so has everyone else. The power is in learning from them. You can't move forward while holding on to guilt. Responsibility isn't about beating yourself up. It's about saying, I did that. I learned from it, and now I'm better. Growth comes from accountability. Every time you take ownership of your actions, you build integrity and strength. You become someone who doesn't just talk about change. You live it. Responsibility turns regret into wisdom and mistakes into motivation. When you refuse to take responsibility, life feels heavy and unfair. You feel like things are happening to you, not for you. But when you take ownership, everything shifts. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow. You start understanding that your mindset shapes your reality. Responsibility turns chaos into clarity because you stop wasting energy on blame and start focusing on solutions. It gives you control over your emotions, your direction, and your purpose. No one can take that from you unless you give it away. Sometimes responsibility feels lonely. You'll look around and see others making excuses while you're putting in the work. Comfort kills growth. It feels safe, it feels easy, and it feels familiar, but that's exactly why it's dangerous. Comfort is a silent enemy of progress. It whispers to you, telling you to rest a little longer, to try again tomorrow, to play it safe. But while you're getting comfortable, someone else is getting better. Growth doesn't happen in the places that make you feel good. It happens in the places that make you uncomfortable. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you stop changing. No, the comfort zone might protect you from failure, but it also blocks you from greatness. You can't evolve while staying the same. People love comfort because it doesn't demand anything. It doesn't ask for sacrifice, for risk, for effort. But everything you want, the success, the growth, the transformation, lives beyond comfort. It lives in early mornings and long nights, in hard work and discipline, in moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. Comfort is where dreams die slowly. It makes you settle. It convinces you that a good enough is fine, that chasing more is unnecessary. But deep down, you know that's a lie. You know you're capable more, but comfort keeps you numb. It keeps you distracted, and over time, it steals your hunger. Growth is uncomfortable because it forces you to let go of who you are to become who you're meant to be. It stretches you. It exposes your weaknesses. It tests your patience and your belief in yourself. But that's the point. Growth isn't supposed to feel good. It's supposed to transform you. You can't build strength without struggle. You can't build confidence without challenge. Every uncomfortable moment is an invitation to evolve. Every obstacle is a lesson wrapped in pain. Comfort will always tell you to turn back, but growth will always tell you to push forward. You have to choose which voice to listen to. Look at anyone who's achieved greatness. They all had to walk through discomfort. Athletes train through exhaustion. Entrepreneurs work through uncertainty. And artists create through rejection. Every one of them had moments when comfort called, but they didn't answer. They kept pushing, kept grinding, kept believing. Because they understood that comfort never leads to excellence. They knew that staying where it's safe means staying small. The difference between those who grow and those who don't isn't talent. It's the willingness to be uncomfortable. Comfort gives you excuse. It says, I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel ready, or it's too hard right now. But growth doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Growth happens when you act despite fear, despite doubt, despite the urge to quit. When you choose growth over comfort, you teach your mind to adapt. You train yourself to stay strong under pressure. You become someone who can handle anything because you've learned to find power in discomfort. Comfort wants you to survive. Growth wants you to thrive. The two cannot coexist. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That means embracing the unknown. It means doing what scares you, taking risks, and putting yourself in situations that force you to grow. It means accepting that failure isn't fatal. It's feedback. Every mistake teaches you something new. Every challenge reveals another layer of your strength. The people who grow the most are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop learning from failure. Comfort tells you to avoid pain. Growth teaches you how to use it. Comfort also dulls your hunger. When life gets easy, you stop pushing. You start saying, I've done enough. But that's when mediocrity sneaks in. The moment you stop striving for better, you start settling for less. Growth is about constant improvement. It's about asking, how can I be stronger, wiser, better than yesterday? The hunger to grow keeps you alive. The moment you lose it, you start drifting through life instead of living it. Don't let comfort rob you of your ambition. Sometimes growth will isolate you. You'll lose people who choose comfort over change. You'll face moments when no one understands why you keep pushing. But that's part of the process. Growth demands focus. It requires you to prioritize your future over your feelings. Comfort tells you to fit in. Growth tells you to stand out. You can't do both. The path of growth is lonely at times, but it's also rewarding. Because when you come out on the other side, you're not just stronger, you're transformed. You're transformed. You have to remind yourself that comfort is temporary, but regret lasts forever. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. 10 years from now, you won't remember how tired you were. You'll remember whether you gave up or kept going. You'll remember whether you chased your dreams or let comfort convince you to play small. Every time you choose comfort, you choose to delay your potential. Every time you choose growth, you get one step closer to your destiny.